first-class express bus in favor of all local buses. This way we would intentionally multiply our adventures. Brilliant, as Deborah might have said. The first bus, with the required amount of 3 times the people and baggage a bus can carry, made it about 2 blocks before it broke down. Everyone stepped off, climbed off, slid off, and men on top threw down baggage and cargo. When a second bus came along, already packed with people, those stranded by the first bus simply stormed it with no rhyme or reason, as is customary in India. John, Rosie, and I just shrugged our shoulders and barely managed to find a spot on the rear bumper, our fingers hanging on for dear life to the open rear window, people's heads peering at us nose to nose. This could have been fun. We quickly learned to keep our knees loose to absorb the bumps and potholes. This could work. Is this much better or what? John yelled over Rosie. Oh, this is so much fucking better. Would you please stop staring at me and back off, Rosie yelled at an old lady with a prune face and a wayward eye. Think of it this way, yelled John. We only have to do this for another 12 hours. We'd stop every few miles to let off some and take on others. People and baggage, sometimes a chicken or two. We'd step off the bumper to rest our feet and stretch our legs, but we would not relinquish our handholds on the window. Space was at a premium, and we needed to protect it. Then the bus would start up again, and we'd jump on the bumper and stare back at new faces, just inches from ours. We did this for about 20 miles when the bus started sputtering and choking and eventually died. There were enough people, baggage, and animals taken off the dead bus to form an entire village. Some passengers loudly berated the bus driver, while others took it in stride, squatting on the dry, dusty road next to their baggage. Some began taking out makeshift stoves and food and started cooking. John was not taking it in stride. My God, he screamed. Isn't it bad enough people live shoulder to shoulder along the rivers? Now they've taken over the fucking highways. Rosie made it worse. We got up at 5 a.m. to catch a fucking 6 a.m. bus. It's now noon and we've gone 21 fucking miles. I was on edge too, but I hadn't seen John and Rose so irritated since we started this trip. Finally, a third bus approached. The stranded all stood up at the side of it. They were waving and hollering for it to stop, but it looked like it wasn't slowing down. It was already packed to capacity. The throng blocked the road. The bus came to a stop. The bus driver got out and was obviously trying to explain to the crowd that it was impossible for him to take 2 busloads of people and baggage on his already overcrowded bus. That did not deter many from throwing their bags on the roof and starting to climb up on top. The bus driver was yelling and pulling on people's legs, trying to get them off, trying to make them understand. It was once again pure madness. India, your contorted face is so big you really do make Ceylon look like a teardrop. The 3 of us just stood there unable to join in the fray. This is just too much, John lamented. I give up, this is just too berserk. Look, Rosie cried out, here comes another bus going back to Madras. John ran to the other side of the road and waved frantically. The bus pulled over and it was only carrying 20 people or so more than it was able to. Plenty of room. We managed to wrestle our way into the middle of the aisle where we would stand the entire way back to where we would start all over again. Except that didn't happen. We had only gone about 7 miles when John's eye caught a sign that said Madras International Airport. "Stop the bus," John yelled at the top of his voice. "Please, stop the bus." A couple of people on board must have understood English, and they started yelling at the bus driver too. I assumed they were translating for John and telling the bus driver in Telugu to stop the bus. For all I know, they were yelling, "Get rid of these dirty hippies, they smell of soap and water, stop the bus now!" Whatever they were yelling, the bus pulled over and stopped. Leading the way, John shoved through the crowd like a speedboat cutting through choppy water, leaving a wake large enough for Rosie and me to get through. The bus slowly got up to speed and left us in its dust. We were glad to walk the 2 miles to the airport, though we had wanted to travel by ground whenever we could. We were glad we had our round-the-world tickets. They did come in handy. We had to wait a few hours, but there was a flight to Bangalore, and by sunset we were walking past signs of Satya Sai Baba and on our way to the only place, which was a hamburger stand in the middle of nowhere for all hippies. "You know," John said softly and calmly to me, "life is just one big fucking dream."